Welcome to an exciting segment for Your Business Too. I'm Tineka Everaardt and I'm joined here today by Rob Godden from People Magic and Sally Day from Blaze Advertising. Now today we're talking about the issue that for over 300 years newspapers have carried job ads, and 5 to 10 years ago there were predictions that online advertising would put an end to the newspaper job ad, and recent phenomena such as advertising via social media has added even more pressure. Sally Day heads Blaze Advertising, which specialises in recruitment, branding and advertising. Sally, I want to know, why don't you think that newspaper ads will disappear?
Well, back in 2004 we were predicting that newspaper advertising would disappear, and I think what we've seen is a dramatic decline in newspaper advertising. But even with the decline in newspaper advertising and this flurry to internet advertising, we're still seeing people come back to newspaper advertising and getting good results. I think it's as much about what you put in your advertising as where you place your advertising. Saying that, newspaper readership and circulation are in decline, and internet advertising and internet job boards are increasing, twofold year on year. So there's a good reason to go to internet advertising.
How much do you think cost plays a part? I mean, it is simply cheaper to put an ad online. Do you think cost is the big factor, or are there other factors at work here?
Well, that's an interesting point, because to put a display ad, a decent sized display ad, might cost a couple of $1,000s, and to put an ad on an internet site might cost $200. But in your display ad, you could potentially list 7 or 8 jobs. So the cost benefit is really how you use the space. Press advertising rates over the last 3 years have remained pretty stable, whereas internet ads have been going up 10% year on year. So internet advertising is increasing, but it's significantly more cheaper per, I suppose, centimetre or by space than a newspaper ad.
Yeah, I noticed that Seek just published some figures yesterday, 3.5 million unique visitors. The next step, obviously, for online advertising is to integrate more functionality, so that a lot of the sites are now offering applicant tracking and the ability to sort of instantly reply to applications as part of their service. How much is that going to damage the static paper ad?
Well, that's a good point. I think if you consider, there are lots of bells and whistles added in your internet advertising, but I think that the best strategy for a client, in my view, or any sort of organisation, is to drive people to their own website, their own job board on their own website, and their own applicant tracking system. Therefore, they actually have control of their candidates, how they choose to communicate with their candidates, and in a sense, they own those resumes. If you actually use the systems provided by some of these other organisations, you can lose a little bit of control. So therefore, your internet ads, your press ads, your billboard ads, your social media marketing, all that should be driving traffic back to your website, where you can really be in control of what you say, your brand, and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was sort of where some of it's heading, the idea that the press ad is a pointer to an online presence, and whether I've seen a lot of people lately pointing at the Seeks and the My Careers, which is interesting, because I think, and what you're just saying, you should actually be pointing at your own site and your own branding. Well,
if you think about, if you point it to Seek, you're pointing to, I'm not sure how many jobs they carry, or Career One or My Career, but you're pointing to all your competitors' ads as well. So in that sense,
people used to say, look us up in the yellow pages, and I used to think, why? That's where all your competitors are.
Yeah,
please look me up in the white
pages.
There too. So the newer technologies, the social media, the Twitter, the Facebook, I'm seeing a lot, in fact I'm using a lot, of the idea that in 140 characters you can shoot a message out that says, hey, I've got this job, click here to find out about it. Is that going to add extra pressure to the newspaper?
Well, I think if we think about social media and we think about job boards just for a minute, job boards are absolutely there to serve the active job seeker. They go there for a purpose. They're expecting to find jobs, they will find jobs, and it's an active environment, and the candidate's going to actually get good results. Social media is more about passive job seekers. Certainly you can have social media that have got topics that are interested in, like if you're looking for a marine biologist, there might be a blog on marine biology, so that would be a good place to post an ad. So you have to be targeted, and I think it has to be just one of your tactics. I don't think it's an all, put all your eggs in one basket. It's certainly about putting a plan together and measuring your plan, because social marketing also takes time and it takes an investment. So measure it to see if it returns, just like we should be doing with our press and just like we should be doing with our internet job boards.
Very fascinating insight there. Thank you so much for your time today, Sally, and thank you, Rob, and thank you for being with us on Your Business Too.